Hello everybody and welcome to the Moto Mill. This is a terrific start of a project that we got in fairly recently. This is a Bultaco pursang, model 48. Now this is going to be what's really Bultaco's third generation, MK3 or Mark III depending on who you talk to. I would dare say that this is Bultaco's most pure pursang, really. The fact that it's in the blood red color, the fact that it's got a low slung pipe on it, and the fact that it's truly a Bultaco machine through and through, unlike the first generation of them where they were using that frame that they had gotten essentially from the Rickman brothers, even though they failed to make it out of chrome moly. Now, these machines were known to be blistering fast. They had some reliability issues back then. I think all of that really can pretty much be solved nowadays. I don't see too many people having terrible problems with them anymore. They came with Bader shocks in the rear, Bader forks in the front, beautiful fiberglass bodywork, plus my ugly side number plates that I put on. I just had them in the junk pile. I don't even know what they're from. They said TM250 on them, but I don't really think so. This bike does have a Mikuni carb on it. Originally, this bike would have had an Amel on it. I believe it had an Amel monoblock. Brake pedal on the left side. Don't have the chain guide on it right now, but I do have one. You'll notice somebody wire tied in the bolts on the sprocket. Pretty cool. Somebody did that on my El Bandito as well. I know that's the one you guys are probably all getting excited for, is me bringing out the big sister to this one, the El Bandito, and starting it up and doing some stuff with it. And we'll do that with both of them. Probably do it with the Bandit first because this one's a little farther away from being finished. It's also got some aftermarket cleated foot pegs on it. Really, really cool. That's actually kind of the reason I got this bike, is it seemed to be set up very similar to the way my Bandit's set up, and I figured they'd make a nice pair. When you push them around the garage, you can tell right away that this bike is definitely a lot lighter than the Bandit. It's starting to rain here, but you can see this gorgeous original seat cover. Even the boat tail rear section in the back here is pretty darn good shape, besides needing a coat of paint. Now, I was starting to say before that this bike is the most pure of the pursangs, and I'll go back into that now. So the bike that came before this, the Model 42, did have the up pipe on it. And it was a really good machine. That was really Bultaco's first pursang. I know we have the earlier one, the little yellow Matisse style ones. But, you know, that one's, it's different. That one's almost like a souped up Sherpa S on a aftermarket chassis, really, since it wasn't Bultaco's brainchild. So when they came out with 42, they really started doing some different things, and it was a neat machine. Those bikes with that high pipe, they did good in the desert because the power was really high revving. Now going into 48, they did do some changes. I know they changed the frame around a little bit, but I'm not enough of an expert on them to really be able to tell you what the differences are. I never had two bare frames next to each other. I do know that the Model 42 had different porting in the cylinder, and so it was a very aggressive machine, while they tried to tame the 48 back and make it a little more torquey for motocross. I believe this bike actually has a Model 42 cylinder on it right now. Probably wake it up a little bit. Now, they would come in a few different styles back then, the same way the Banditos would. You could basically get them in a motocross or a scrambles version. Usually that meant that you'd get the 21-inch front wheel if you got the motocross one, while you get the 19 if you got the scrambles version or the TT version, whatever you want to call it. This one here is an original motocross one with the original Pirelli on the front of it. when the Pirellis were made in Spain. I like that Bultaco puts their little logo on everything, including the Bader forks. Now this bike uses the same wheel set really as the Bandito as far as I'm aware. This bike actually came with an extra set of wheels which I plan to use for the Bandito because that bike's got some really beautiful original Pirellis on it that I just don't want to thrash up. They're just too perfect. I've already put too many laps on them. The other big difference with the motocross one and the scrambles ones is that you'd end up getting a real set of handlebar clamps in the front here, where the bars mount on the top of the triple trees. That's better than the TT or scrambles, Banditos, and pursangs, where they would actually, if you've seen them, you'll know what I'm talking about, where they actually come and they mount to the top of the forks right here. They called those adjustable ones, but in reality, I think you lost a lot of adjustability, but that is the way they marketed them. Now, under where I've got those rigged on plastic number plates, you'd have had a big steel airbox on it. This machine no longer has that, and I'm not upset about that one bit. Very heavy contraptions. Just take another look at this nice seat. And well, guys, let me know in the comments here if you want to see me put this one back together and make some videos with it. And if you guys want to see that video I'm going to do very soon on the Bandito, the big 360. Personally, I think that this bike will probably outperform the Bandito, because the Bandito is kind of like TM400, a legendary machine, very, very powerful, but just doesn't handle too good. I think this bike here, I just already rolling it around, I can tell that it's a little lighter, it'll be a little more playful. That motor there is just, if you notice the size difference, it's big in comparison to the Pedrables motor that the Bandito uses. Well, guys, I hope you liked this video and this content. Please subscribe. This little page could really use it. You'll see more of all these pursangs really soon, including the first generation that I was telling you about. I've got one of those, so we'll compare the half-breed one to the pureblood, or the purebred. Thank you, everybody.